Welcome, everyone, and thank you so much for joining today's webinar. Today, we're going to be discussing how you can boost your content creation with the Shure MoveMic 88 Plus. We are joined by two fabulous musicians, Laura Davidson and Nick Ritchie. So without further ado, I'm going to kick it over to Laura, and Laura's going to get us through our agenda, and then we're going to dive right in. So take it away, Laura.
Thank you, Cheryl. All right, so we're going to have you for the next 30 minutes or less, but we're going to go quickly through the brand new MoveMic 88 Plus, which is our wireless microphone for creators, live streamers, field recorders, etc. Nick's going to take you through the nitty-gritty of what the mic is all about, and then I'm going to dig into the applications, and then we're going to listen to it. And by the way, you're hearing it right now when you hear me and Nick talk. So, Nick, take it away.
Thank you, Laura, and thank you all for being here. So, MoveMic 88 Plus, it's the kind of the next generation in our Motive line. If you're familiar with the MV88 Plus, that was a condenser stereo mic that you could connect directly to your phone. This is the same mic, but it's wireless, which is really cool and makes it kind of the first of its kind. So like the MV88 Plus, it's got 4 selectable polar patterns. We've got stereo adjustable width, monocardioid, which is, you might be familiar with, SM58's a monocardioid mic, for an example. Mono bidirectional and raw mid-side. And Laura's going to talk about those in a little more depth later. There's also 5 preset modes available via the Motive app and the MoveMic receiver, which we'll also talk about. You can connect this straight to your smartphone using the Motive apps, and it's compatible with iOS and Android devices, also tablets. Also, the DSP features are super cool. Already mentioned the polar pattern adjustments, but you've got gain, you've got compressor, you've got EQ, you've got monitor mix control so that you can actually listen to yourself in real time via a pair of wired headphones. And newly introduced noise reduction, which is super handy. I assume we are both using that right now.
We are.
Yeah. So 8-hour battery life on a full charge, which is great. So you can charge it up and go out and do your thing for a full 8 hours if you need to. And the built-in headphone monitoring, as I just mentioned, is very nice. You've got a headphone output, which we'll look at in more detail. The range, the operating range, being this is a wireless mic, you can get up to 100 feet of range given line of sight, given conditions. Line of sight means, imagine that this mic can see the phone or the receiver that it's connected to. It needs to have a clear line of sight. That's always important with wireless transmission. Frequency range of 40 hertz to 18 kilohertz. Adjustable gain range of 0 to 40 dB. Takes about 2.5 hours to charge the thing up fully. And the transducer types, you're probably familiar with condenser versus dynamic. This is a condenser mic, and it's both a cardioid condenser and a bidirectional condenser. So there's basically 2 mics in one here, and we'll go into that in more depth shortly. So let's talk about connectivity options. This is an important thing to cover. So wirelessly, this mic can be connected directly to a mobile device or this thing called the MoveMic receiver. This is an extra piece of hardware that's available separately or as part of the MoveMic 88 Plus receiver kit, I think is the official product name.
Yep.
A quick note, when you're connected to a phone or a tablet, you will be restricted to using our proprietary Shure Motive apps. We've got a Motive audio app and a Motive video app. They're both excellent apps, but you will be limited to those apps when connected directly to your phone. However, there are more options when using the receiver, and let's check out those options on the next slide. So when you're connected to the receiver, the purpose of the receiver is to kind of expand your options here. So with the hardware receiver, you can send your audio via the 3.5 millimeter output to a camera or via the USB-C output to a mobile device or a computer. So that kind of breaks you free of having to use the Motive apps on a phone. So if you want to use a third-party app or even your phone's built-in camera app, you can do this. You can so basically the mic is connected wirelessly to the receiver, and then the receiver is connected via cable to whatever device you want to send your audio to. So really greatly expanding your options here. And here's just some images we've got, just kind of show you what the receiver looks like when it is attached to a camera. So it's got the cold shoe mount, which is very handy. And yeah, you just connect the cable there and you go. So great for, professional or amateur videographers or anything of that sort. And then here's a look at the back panel of the mic, and you can maybe kind of see it in my camera here, but let's look at the innies and the outies. So at the top here, you've got a 3.5 millimeter headphone output. That's good for live monitoring, as I mentioned before. So even though this is wireless, you can connect a pair of wired headphones to this headphone output and hear the audio that you're going to get as you're recording, and you can do this while you're recording for live monitoring. You got two LEDs. The one on the left is an RF status. It'll tell you whether you're in pairing mode. You do need to put this into pairing mode, kind of like you would, or just like you would with a pair of Bluetooth headphones, for example. And it'll also tell you, it'll light up like solid blue when you are paired to a device, so you know you've got a connection going. The other LED on the right, that's just your status LED. It'll tell you if you're muted, it'll be red. You mute by just pressing the button on and off. There's one button on this thing. It'll also tell you if you're in a lock state, you can lock the mute so you don't accidentally mute yourself, which is very handy. It'll show you the battery level as you're charging. And again, these two LEDs will show you that you're in pairing mode. This is all in the user guide. Don't worry. You don't have to memorize this. And then the USB-C connector is for firmware updates and charging. And you can also use this as a wired mic straight to a mobile device. So just like the MV88 Plus, you can use this in the same way if you want to. You don't have to use it wirelessly. So that's just an extra option. And then here's a look at the polar patterns that we mentioned before. Stereo, so you can see the lobes of the two mics involved here. Again, we've got one cardioid condenser and one bidirectional condenser, which is, kind of think of a bidirectional mic as almost like two mics, and Laura will talk about that in more depths. But yeah, stereo polar patterns, you get a stereo image, again, adjustable width. Monocardioid, that's when you just point the thing and mic something. And then mono bidirectional, that's when the left and right mics are active only. And then this raw mid-side configuration, which if you're a studio cat, you might be familiar with this if you've mic'd drums up in all kinds of creative ways. This is a classic drum miking technique that would typically involve two microphones, but since this is two mics in one, you can get it from this one little guy here. Super cool. And here's a look at the apps. Am I bulldozing over you, Laura? Is this where do we switch in here?
Yeah, I'll switch over. I'll take it from here.
Okay, cool.
But thanks, Nick. So yeah, and just one note about the raw mid side, as he said, it's kind of a fun trick for in studio, but you can also separate it in post into separate tracks, which is key if you're wanting to do some fun editing in the background. So for our Motive audio and video apps, there, as it explains, an audio version and a video version, but you have all of these controls within each of those apps. So if you're looking left to right, just to go through those screenshots, the first one is where you can access on your device the polar patterns and how you switch them in real time. In a minute, I'll switch over my camera so you can see me do it on the receiver, but this is where you would do that on the apps. The second screen over gives you an overview of what some of the parameters are that you can control. You can rename your device if you want. You can lock out those settings that as Nick mentioned. You can turn off the LEDs so nothing's flashing in your video content. And high power mode is speaking to the range. You can actually boost the RF signal. So if you want to maximize that 100 feet, that's what you can do there. You can also customize presets and save them and adjust your gain. And the next one over is showing the compressor settings, the high pass filter, the equalizer, and the noise reduction. Now, when you toggle that EQ on the far right, you can see you have a 5-band EQ that you can customize and then save it as your own preset if you'd like. But just on that second from left screen, you can see those presets peeking out under the bottom. And that shows you on the next screen, if we go to the next slide, what those presets are actually doing for you. So the different icons represent different things, the speech being a little speech bubble, and also singing, flat, acoustic, and band mode. And in the band mode, that's a great option if you're recording, let's say, a concert or a practice where you have a louder environment. It will drop those levels down, but not squash or compress your sound too much. And when it's changing those presets, it is adjusting your polar pattern. So if you want to have more manual control, then you would do that. But if you want to have a good starting point, go ahead and use those presets. So that's kind of an overview of the mic itself. Let's talk about who this mic is for and which scenarios you can use it in. So the primary use case would be for YouTubers and vloggers who are out in the field capturing content and who don't want to have a ton of gear. So for example, when I go to trade shows as part of my day-to-day job, I'll bring the MoveMic 88 Plus and my phone, and that's all that I need. Maybe a set of headphones just so I can check the levels. I'm actually wearing in-ears right now to make sure I'm sounding good as we're doing this webinar. So YouTubers and vloggers who are in the field who want that high quality audio, but they don't want to lug around a bunch of gear and they want it to be very streamlined. So that's why we designed it and tweaked it so that the MV88 Plus now has that wire removed, but can still work into your workflow the same way that you're used to it doing. Now, the next one that we have is the mobile filmmaker. So mobile filmmakers are those looking to get professional audio to match the professional video that they're getting. And when I say mobile filmmakers, we have incredibly powerful cameras in our pockets all the time with our phones. And now people are doing that professionally. So if you're watching this as a mobile filmmaker and you've been wanting something that you could bring into your setup that's not going to require, a bag and lavs or a shotgun mic, this is a really good option for you to have because it's wireless. As we said, you can pair it to that receiver, which we'll show you in a minute, or you can pair it directly to a phone and get that professional quality audio to match the level of the video that you're capturing already. So this is a great way to enhance that without spending a ton of money and without bogging down your setup. And then last but not least, field recordists. So this is one of my favorite applications, especially for the MV88 Plus and now the MoveMic 88 Plus. It's so much more freeing. Before you could use the MV88 Plus and get great field audio because you can change the polar patterns. Now, as you can see in this picture on the slide, that is a MoveMic 88 Plus floating on a log in a swamp, and it can capture the sounds. Now, why is that useful? I am not a field recordist, but if I was, I would be able to capture sounds of nature like never before. We actually have a very cool video on our website where you can toggle between the sounds captured on your phone versus the sounds captured on the MoveMic 88 Plus. And the level of detail that you get is unmatched. So as a field recordist, if you're sick of lugging around a ton of gear, think of the MoveMic 88 Plus as an option for you to streamline your setup and be as inobtrusive as possible. There's also a really cool video series that we put out that showcases that use case as well. And that's on Shure.com as well as YouTube. All right, so we've talked at you a lot about the microphone. Let's hear what it sounds like. You've been listening to it in real time this whole time. I'm in monocardioid. Are you as well, Nick?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So like we said, though, there are these multiple polar patterns that you can work with. So let's go down to my desktop camera view here. Wake my receiver up. So as you can see, I have my MoveMic receiver paired here. And as Nick mentioned, it comes in a kit variant, or you can buy the MoveMic receiver on its own. So if you decide you just want to start by pairing it to your phone directly and then incorporate the receiver, you can do that. So to enter into the settings, you just push this little button here. I'm going to cycle down to my MoveMic, which is already paired. I could show you the pairing because it's very quick, but for purposes of this, let's say we've already gone through that. So then you go all the way down to the last menu item using this little joystick and enter to get into changing your polar patterns. Now, as I said, I'm in cardioid. Let's switch it over to stereo mode. And so now in stereo, I have the ability to adjust my stereo width. So hopefully you've grabbed a set of headphones so you can hear me adjusting this in real time, opening it wide and hearing my sounds over here, as well as what's in front of the mic, which if I switch over to cardioid, you're not going to hear my snaps as much as you would with stereo. Now moving into bidirectional. I'm going to have to change where I talk because you guys can't see me, but now I'm leaning over the microphone. Here, I'll switch it up so you can see this because it's kind of ridiculous. So I'm over here talking to the side of the mic because mono bidirectional is essentially disabling the front microphone and opening up the left and right sides of the microphone, which is handy if you're doing a two-person interview. You can set it in between yourself and the guest and capture really great quality audio without having to have two microphones set up. All right, and now this is raw mid-side. So as Nick mentioned, this is kind of a trick of the trade for miking up drums and having essentially two mics in one, where you have the bidirectional capturing on both sides and the directional right in front of the microphone itself. So lots of flexibility and options in the MoveMic 88 Plus, and very simple to change. It remembers those settings when you unpair the microphone. It's going to remember what you had it in last, so you don't have to worry about setting that up every time. But I do recommend checking it every time just to make sure that you know what you're going to be recording in. And of course, checking your audio, because it has, as Nick mentioned, the headphone out on the back. So this is my microphone that you're hearing this entire time. And it's so small and portable. I love it. I also love it. I mean, we've seen a lot of people on socials using teeny mics that we kind of don't love, but like this is my other one that's not paired, by the way. This one's substantial enough to where, you could do this action or this action and it's legit. And it does come with this awesome windscreen. And we should say it comes with cables. It comes with the windscreen. It comes with the 3.5mm cable when getting the kit with the receiver, and this cool roll-up sleeve that you carry it all in. Look, Nick's got it right there. He's got his cable. So you can change polar patterns. You can adjust your gain. You can adjust your compression. You can also add that noise reduction. Let me just do a quick demo of what that sounds like when I turn it off. So it's not super loud in my room right now, so I don't know if you'll be able to hear the difference. If I had my space heater on, you would, but it's kind of a nicer day here. But you can toggle that on and off, and that's beneficial if you're in loud environments and you want to focus in on the sound that's coming into the mic and block out what's coming in from the rear and sides, even more than the cardioid pattern will already do. So I think that covers all of the sights and sounds of the MoveMic 88 Plus. We do have a video, but let's see. Is it teed up, Cheryl, so we can hear it?
I've got it teed up.
Sweet. So this is what I mentioned. So this is going to show you the difference of your smartphone microphone versus the MoveMic 88 Plus in real life examples. Go for it. So cool. So that's available for you anytime you want to go to Shure.com to the MoveMic 88 Plus page. If you want to toggle back and forth in real time, you can do that. If you didn't have headphones on, you're like, oh, I missed it. Just go to Shure.com, check it out. So that's the end of our presentation. Now I think we've got some questions, Cheryl. What do you got for us?
Yeah, I don't have any in the Q&A, but I do have some pre-submitted questions that we can kick into right quick. So let's talk about, the different devices and apps that can be used with the Motive 88 Plus. Specifically, what can you stream? Can you use it for streaming, like with Twitch or Facebook Live or Instagram? Is it compatible with those?
Yes, absolutely. So within the Motive apps, you can stream directly to Facebook and YouTube. And then you can stream to the other apps mentioned by using the receiver. So you would go into your computer or your device via the receiver, and then you can go to any third-party apps that you want. So you'd pair the mic to the receiver and then go to those apps. But otherwise, you can go directly to your phone and stream to Facebook Live and YouTube Live.
Fantastic. All right, cool. The transmission on MoveMic, is that encrypted by chance?
It is not.
Okay, good to know. Are there any let's talk about latency, because we're kind of using a Bluetooth Wi-Fi schema here. Let's talk about the latency on that, and what is it? How do we circumvent it? Tell me about latency in the MV88 Plus.
Go for it, Nick. You look like you're chomping at the bit.
Well, I've got the info right in front of me. So
yes.
The latency is 16.66 milliseconds or less. So when you're connected to a mobile device, so I should say when you're connected to the receiver, the hardware receiver, that's the spec, 16.66 milliseconds or less, which very, very quick, very short, very little latency. When connected to a mobile device, it will be dependent on the device, but our Motive video app has an algorithm so that your video and audio will always be in sync. So there's a lot of stuff going on under the hood, so you don't really need to worry about that. That was something that I worried about when I first started messing around with this thing. Like, what if, if my mic's here and my phone is, however many, 20 feet away or something, like, are they still going to sync up right? And they did. The app's doing this cool stuff behind the scenes, so I haven't had any issues with audio and video being out of sync, which is really handy because, the whole point of this thing is to make content quickly so that you don't have to go and import your stuff into an audio or video editor and fix it up after the fact.
Fantastic. Does the MoveMic 88 Plus work with native camera apps? And what about other third-party camera apps and video recording apps?
That's So if you've got the receiver, you can use it with anything. So connect this thing to your phone or to your computer. You can use it with really any app at all because you're just sending an audio signal at this point. The device doesn't care. These apps don't care where the audio is coming from. It's just an audio input. So when you connect this to the receiver to your computer, for example, it'll show up as an audio device. So if you're used to using an audio digital audio interface, for example, it shows up just like that. You select it as your audio input device and make sure it's selected in whatever app you're using on a computer, and you're good to go. On a phone, it's really just plugging the receiver in, pairing the mic to the receiver, and open any app that uses audio or video, and you can go to town.
Fantastic. Well, it sounds like a super versatile and easy to use tool, and I personally can't wait to get my hands on one. So thank you, Laura and Nick, for all of the information. If you have a question that we somehow missed or pops into your head or across any other sort of, audio topics, you can always go to shure.com/contact, fill out a form there, and get in touch with our fantastic applications engineering support team. They can answer so many questions. They are a very knowledgeable group of guys and gals. We want to thank you so much for joining today's session. We hope you're excited about the MoveMic 88 Plus. I know I certainly am, and we hope to see you on the next one. Have a great day, everybody.